Up next, Cowboy Corner.
Love or hate them, everyone's got one eye on them. They've consistently been the number one offense. Lead the league in turnovers. That's the only stat I have. How about them Cowboys?
What a season!
How about
yeah,
them
that's
boys?
right. So again, just for a bit of context before we get started in this segment, Nima, we for anybody who hasn't seen this before, we have a dedicated segment to the Dallas Cowboys because what NFL network doesn't? So yeah, Nima, let's go straight over to you, mate. Playoff berth, you've done it, you've made it. Do you feel
We've
validated?
not only made it, we have somehow managed to get the 3rd seed instead of the 4th, which I'll take. Sorry, what was your question?
How do you feel? What are your
How
thoughts?
do I feel? We've had a good season. We've had a good normal season run of games. A bit of inconsistency through the middle. A lot of positives, but also quite a lot of negatives. We seem to be getting healthy at the right time, so I've got a little bit of hope for the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
But there's still a sort of niggling doubt about the team that I'm just not quite like a bit of true believer that we can see a game out, or we can just turn even a small deficit around. It's kind of like a few marginal issues that I think we can work on. And I honestly, the biggest thing for me is I don't know what Mike McCarthy's effect is on the team. I cannot tell you for a moment what he has brought to the franchise personally. I just cannot say it. I'm not saying he
What's
hasn't
his
brought anything.
identity almost?
What is he? Yeah, because I mean the offense clearly is stamped by Kellen Moore. The defense, like, it transformed by Dan Quinn, and obviously Micah Parsons. Have to give credit to him. I cannot tell you what Mike McCarthy's done. Like, obviously, like, he's had a say in some of the hiring over the last year or two, but again.
Yeah, I know Dan Quinn was probably a bit of a home run at DC in hindsight, but he did hire Dan Quinn. I guess we don't know what his influence is with the draft. I mean, probably not that high because Jerry Jones surely picks, or like, and it's Stephen Jones. They probably have a big say in that.
Yeah. And also, like, at the same time, he probably is a bit laid back or like hands off in the sense of like the OC, the offensive and defensive play calling is not directly linked to him.
Mm-hmm.
But you were saying you were about to say something.
The thing my thoughts does, because I've written some stuff down here, and I guess it's stuff that we've all heard before, is that you have a absolutely loaded roster, you have a capable quarterback, and you have a good record. You're the 3rd seed, but that could be viewed as hollow because you haven't beaten a team with a winning record since before Halloween.
Mm-hmm.
You swept your division, which is easily the worst division in the league, outside of potentially the NFC North, and even then, the Vikings and the Bears both, I feel, are both more competitive. Well, actually, maybe not both of them because the Eagles made the playoffs. But you know what I mean, like the Giants. We spoke about how terrible they are. Washington really capitulated. Like, it's a bad division. You're 3-4 against teams with a winning record, and you're 6-4. You're 6-5 outside of the NFC East. So there's questions, isn't there? Do you know what I mean? It's just sort of, it's hard to know.
And also in the sense of, I mean, a lot of the games that I think we could have won came down to real fine margins. So, like, I mean, examples being the Raiders game, the Cardinals game, and even the first game of the season against the Tampa Bay. In all of those games, there was one common denominator that, if the result of this thing changed or was more positive, could have won us the game. What would you guess that would be?
Clock management.
Nope. Nathan?
I was going to say game management, clock management too.
He Greg Zerline? He doth not deserve that name till he sorts his shit out.
Where's Greg's legs?
I've got some things in front of me. He missed the field goal against the Cardinals. Again, I'm not saying that would have changed the result, but teams will play completely differently when a game is tied.
They're winning or losing, yeah.
Yeah, so example number 1. Example number 2, missed 2 extra points against the Giants, week 14. These are extra points. Not even in bad weather. And we won that game, got lucky. Week 12, missed a field goal and an extra point, and we lost by 3 points against the Raiders. And then week 1, he missed. Did I write this correctly? He missed 3 field goals in what ended up being a 2-point game.
Which game was that?
Bucks.
That was, literally that's the first game of the season, so I've got no idea if that's true. But I wouldn't.
I'm pretty sure.
He's had a down year. I think a lot of kickers have.
Yeah, I feel like we should move off him because our special teams has improved, and he is weirdly the sort of ugly duckling of what's been a decent year for our special teams, I'd say.
Yeah. Now, don't get me wrong. I think Dallas is going to be good in the playoffs. I think you certainly have the roster to compete. I think as a Cowboys fan, you must be happy you got the Rams over the Cardinals, even though the Rams probably have a stronger roster.
We don't have the Rams. We have 49ers.
Oh, yes. So you must be buzzing then, because
we have the worst QB out of the potential 3 or 4 that we could have come up against.
Absolutely.
I can't wait to see Jimmy G lick his lips as he stands over Dak Prescott.
We'll
the game.
We'll get more into that. We'll get more into that in the wild card.
I'm only kidding.
Weekend stuff.
I was going to ask a question actually, to Nima.
How
do you feel about? Do you think now would be an ideal? Because I'll try and rephrase it. Basically, a lot of interest is being made around your offensive coordinator and defensive coordinators
for head coaching jobs.
Head coaching roles. And do you think that if they were to make a change at head coach at the Cowboys, now would be a good opportunity to do it? Or do you think they will just let them go and then find someone else?
Are you saying give one of them our head coaching job instead of Mike McCarthy? I don't think they'll do that. I just don't think it will happen. I think Kellen Moore may eventually become a head coach, but that's if Mike McCarthy gets fired in a more natural sort of progression of a way. I think Jerry Jones will let his bank account do the talking when trying to keep them on board, because their wages don't affect cap. So apparently he has no issue with upping the price to keep people on. Dan Quinn, I think, has rejected multiple offers already, and I don't think he wants to be a head coach right now. I think he's enjoying the sort of DC life.
100%. I just wondered.
Not Washington DC. But I think if push came to shove, they would give one of them the head coaching job. Then again, is that better than finding someone else from outside? I don't know.
Also, it's risky, I suppose, because you don't actually know what they're like as head coaches. But
Like,
I just meant more in the fact that would you be scared to lose?
Oh yeah. I think Kellen Moore is, even though he's faced some criticism in the last few weeks, I think he is a clever play caller. He may need to improve on his run, swout of like the way he schemes his run game.
Yeah.
It can be a bit one-dimensional, but I would do everything to keep Dan Quinn, because we gained, I know, a defensive player of the year candidate in the draft somehow, but I think the attitude he brought to our defense has just been night and day. There's just, like I said last year, there was no speed, there was no zing, there was no effort in our defensive plays, and this year it's like people don't care if they get hurt. They just want to hit hard, they want to get the ball, and they want to get the ball. They want to get the ball. They want that ball. Nice. Yeah, I think you can't downplay the attitude change that's come about. And like I said, I will place that on Dan Quinn. I can't place that on Mike McCarthy.
Okay. Well,
do you think the Cowboys need to move on from Mike McCarthy chat? Spam yes or no in the chat, and we will see. We'll decide. We'll let the chat decide, as Twitch always so often does. Okay,
and
so
that is not Mick McCarthy, the former Ipswich Town football manager.
Mick McCarthy. Okay, yeah. So yeah, I don't. The only other points I had was the only NFC playoff team you have beaten is the Eagles. So again, that also worries me a little bit, because
that's an awkward stat.
Yeah, it's sort of, I mean, in fairness, you've played the Cardinals, you played the Bucks, you played the Eagles. What other playoff teams have you
Again,
played?
those two games again within a margin of error that we could have maybe.
And it was a
sorted as
different.
well.
Also, it was a different Bucks team. They don't have Chris Godwin, Antonio Brown now. They don't have playoff Lenny yet.
Yeah.
And
we were very uncertain in our sort of like identity as well.
They don't have Levante David anymore. I would love it if you could knock them out for us. That'd be rad.
They have Tom Brady though.
They do have Tom Brady. They do have the GOAT. So we'll have to see. All right. Okay. Well, that's about as much Cowboy Corner as I've got to offer. I don't know if Nima, have you any closing thoughts on?
We're getting healthy at the right time. We've got a few players out. Micah Parsons had COVID or was on the COVID list. Pollard's out again with a foot injury. Diggs is ill but not COVID. But I think it's looking like most of them will be back for the playoffs, which are, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, aren't they?
Yeah.
That's going to be so good. Weekend of sports, my friends.
Yes. Right, okay, yeah. As I say, any new listeners, listen to Inside the Fire. That was Cowboy Corner. We're going to move on to the MVP chat. This button.